Well, if you have ever thought that politicians are the ones really sponsoring banditry in the north, maybe those thoughts might just be positive with this new update. Sahel agencies plan to name Nigerian politicians funding Northwest bandits. Intelligence agencies from Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso announced on Monday their intention to publicly identify senior Nigerian politicians accused of supplying arms and logistics to bandit groups in Nigeria's northwest region. The Alliance of Sahel States claims to possess concrete evidence and has reported arrests of individuals involved in the weapons trade as part of efforts to disrupt cross-border criminal networks. Bandits' activities, including kidnappings and raids, have displaced thousands and caused billions in economic losses for Nigeria over the past decade. It's really sad, really. Some updates are also saying that intelligence agencies from Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso say they are preparing to reveal the names of senior Nigerian politicians alleged to be supporting bandits groups operating in Nigeria's northwest, according to security analyst Zagazola Makama. So it goes. It is really saddening. We've always had this thoughts. We've always had this thinking, this mindset all the time that banditry is not burnout of the dissatisfaction to government, lackadaisical attitude towards the plight of the people. Because how do you turn out to become a thief and then wield AK-47 that is in millions? If you say petty thief, stealing of food items, phones, even though we know that is not a good sign, but again, when you steal that in order to go and eat food, there's a level of coloration that it has over and above somebody is dissatisfied with a situation, and then what they go to do is to kidnap a fellow citizen who is like them, who is also struggling like them, and collect the little that they have for the ransom that they are asking for. And sometimes they even kill them in the process. So one would wonder, what exactly is the problem? What exactly is the problem? I think it was even IBB. Was it IBB now or Abacha? One of them. I think IBB. He was one that said if banditry or if insecurity persists more than 24 hours, government hands is involved. For the very first time, I saw a president under Goodluck Jonathan admit that there are people that are Boko Haram elements in his government. It almost seemed as if he was helpless with the situation that he was faced with, and firing them would mean that he's going to get into more trouble in his government. So you have people who are within the system who are benefiting from this consistent, continuous insecurity. I keep asking myself, how can a ragtag militant group called themselves Boko Haram outrun or overrun a Nigerian military base? I say it's not possible. This Nigerian military that they send for peacekeeping every day, or they send for peacekeeping all these years, is it this Nigerian military? No. Somebody is making a huge business of it. The fact that there's no two ways about it. When I hear the stories of ambushing Nigerian army, it's an insider work now. How did they know that the army is passing this road or army is coming after them? How did they know and then that they ambushed them? How did they know that? Somebody's giving them information within. And it is not even the army, the full soldiers. There are people who are on the top, at the top echelon of army that is doing this thing. The more this thing gets bad, the more monies they make. If not, what is the catch? And somewhat, I'm beginning to be excited. Previously I was so sad about the fact that Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso were leaving the ECOWAS bloc. I was sad about it, but I'm beginning to see that it looks like these guys know what they're doing. They have actually had a level of development since they asked the French to leave them. They've had a level of development, at least they're taking care of their own problem. They're looking for homegrown solutions to their homegrown problems because their problems are mostly homegrown: hunger, starvation, strife, education, philanthropy, amenities. That's exactly what they're looking for, isn't it? That's exactly what they want. So if they have somebody who has a foresight like they have had so far, it's just a matter of time. Give them another 5 to 10 years and see what's happened. And I keep saying this thing, yeah, democracy may have worked in other countries. Democracy may have been the best kind of government that any country or any people can have in order to express themselves as much as possible. But I have seen that maybe democracy is not good for a black man. No, seriously. Maybe democracy is not our thing. We need to, I think it's a blend of it. They call it democracy, but with military, influence of some sort. Because democracy entirely hasn't really solved our problems as black people. Maybe it may have solved a little of the problems that they have abroad. The French, the whites, the English, the German. Maybe they had democracy strive there, but even if we're going to adopt democracy, let the democracy adoption be entrenched in our system that works for us. Because for crying out loud, what Burkina Faso is passing now is not democracy, but we were seeing the considerable number of development that country keeps having and growth every now and then. Same thing with Niger and Mali. So I don't know. I don't want to digress from the topic, but again, in Nigeria, there have been people who have been identified. In fact, let me tell you this: as far back as 2021, I read a news item. I remember that day. I can never forget. If there's anything I will forget, that on my radio days, I will never forget that day. I read the news item. Not Nigerian government. It was under Buhari. Not Nigerian government. The UAE government released a list of people who are Boko Haram financiers. Like, when UAE do their investigation, they are thorough with their investigation. They are very thorough. They know what they're doing. And you can't fault them, hardly. UAE released a statement saying listed names of companies through which they used monies. They used to pass. They send illicit funds to fund Boko Haram and fund other people. Call out names upon names that were over, if I'm not mistaken, over 20. The government since then, what we hear every now and then, whenever the bandits surrender, they get them out. After surrendering them, then they now absorb them into Nigerian army. Why don't you absorb them and send them to school? Why absorb them and put them into Nigerian army? So why then we are now complaining that the army is being overrun? What are you expecting? You get a Boko Haram, you catch a Boko Haram member, then you give them amnesty. They drop the amnesty, and then you absorb them into Nigerian army, and then you think they will not tell the people who are out there what's happening here, so that they can come and do the needful. It's terrible, man. It's terrible. This is not the first time we're hearing people being named. Well, maybe it might be the first time we're hearing a West African nation or 3 West African nations naming Nigerian politicians who are involved in banditry and arms dealing across the West African Sahel and West African sub-region. Hopefully, it's a totally different government that is in power right now, and some things can be done and done quickly too. It's just so sad. It's just so sad. Ken Uti says it is in their advantage to do so because we all know who is behind the insurgency in the region. The UAE gave names, Nigerian names, but Nigeria chose to do nothing. I mean, this is I have not even gone to the Twitter to the reactions, and somebody's confirming what I read. This was 4 years ago on radio. 4 years ago, they named it. They said this is not the. They have traced every single thing and they named it till this date. Government has said nothing about it. Sani Abdurazak says it is so disheartening to see some Christians supporting the claim of genocide on Nigerian Christians population, while we know the issue of insecurity has become business and political issue in Nigeria, and the moment we start killing each other, they will all fly and leave the country. Christ Media says Nigerians will politicize the issue when the names are mentioned. Some will say it's political. Some would say my same religious family, and others will say my tribal man. This one says, I am laughing because if they do, the same Nigerians who are being killed will fight and defend the politicians. It is a good idea, but it will never give any results. Remember Professor Isa Patami. Remember the list UAE released under Buhari till today, nothing. I said it. I said it. Even before I started reading this comment, I said it. UAE released a list. Let's first of all start with that list. God. So terrible, man. Gwadi says, funny enough, it will turn to a regional war on social media, just like the case of Sultan, who was arrested over the weekend. And surprising enough, some people are wishing him well and hoping he comes out soonest. You know, the crazy thing is that, do you know that that particular story is still online? That list that UAE posted of financiers of terrorism in Nigeria, do you know that that list is still online, still very much online and active online? You can go and check it and see it. It's crazy, man. This one says, the one that Saudi Arabia put out there, what did the government do with it? Who are you expecting to see to see that you don't know anymore? To see what you don't know anymore? Ibokwe Onyejiachi says the time is overdue. Not only mentioning them, but placing them on Interpol watch list. Audu Hassan says, why send a lot before publishing the name, or do you want it to be sabotaged? Zan says, in as much as we want these names published, it is the same Nigerians being killed that will come out to defend the names of the politicians when they are exposed. Oh, well, until we learn that lesson then. I think everybody's beginning to get to that point in their lives where they would not want to support their brother when they are called out. I mean, everything is looked at in the lens, or using the lens of tribalism. And it's so terrible and so terrifying. Soccerman says, if you truly fight terrorism the way it should be fought, information like this is not hard to come by. A lot of captured terrorists will gladly name their sponsors, with the exception of Nigeria, a country that embraces terrorists and openly cut deals with them. Another angle, another tragic angle. Our useless DSS are complicit in the crime. They have not arrested any, but Sowore and MNK with 0 victims. Mr. Zil Uduma says, once they do, and it happens to be political bride of the patriotics, then it will become a Russian or Israeli sponsored agenda against Nigeria because of Palestine. We will be here. You see? This guy is just bringing a totally different angle. Jamali Dean says, this will be very interesting. You don't need to be told that some powers in Nigeria are behind the insecurity happening currently in the most parts of northern Nigeria. Musan says it's a well-known fact that no insecurities prevail unless there are saboteurs involved. Now, if they, as military juntas, really want to release the names, they will not bargain. This is a welcome development. People wouldn't believe anything from federal government if they released it. Conspiracy theories will flow. I will surely believe the Sahel if they drop the names. They are always planning to expose. Maybe the day they will finally expose the perpetrators, heaven would fall. Alisa Nwobo says, all right. Jikan Waziri says, but our government and security agencies are already aware of those involved in these activities. They shouldn't waste their energy unless they want the general public to know their names and target their homes. Good point. You know, that's the thing. It's impossible not to get people who are in government involved in a scale of crime like this. It's not just possible. It's not just possible. It's not just possible. You can't fight a government of a place. Government would sweep you out. Would if it means killing you and burying you and paying the consequences, they don't care. But you can't come and say the government has no idea or cannot pinpoint who are sponsors of these terrorist attacks or these banditry. It's terrible, and it's about time that things are taken seriously. Thank you for watching. See you on the other side.